Mexico investigates case of missing migrants. Masked gunmen barged onto a bus in northern Mexico, carrying a list of names. They left without firing a single shot, taking at least 19 passengers with them as they sped away from the scene. And so far, where did the missing passengers go? It's a mystery that's left Mexican officials scrambling for answers as public pressure mounts. Authorities are investigating what they've said may be a mass kidnapping, and Mexico's top leaders have offered several possible explanations in recent days. They've revealed one key detail that's likely a big piece of the puzzle. All the passengers the gunmen removed from the bus were likely migrants traveling through Mexico and heading to the United States. And the theories authorities have presented have serious implications in the immigration debate on both sides of the US-Mexico border. Officials at first tried to downplay the possibility the migrants were kidnapped, but later announced they. What we know so far. Gunmen intercepted the bus March 7 along the highway that connects San Fernando, a town in the northern Mexican state of Tamaulipas, with the city of Reynosa, which sits across the U.S. border from McAllen, Texas. It took days for officials to reveal the incident, something that's drawn criticism in Mexican media. Officials have defended San Fernando was the site of a notorious migrant massacre less than a decade ago. Investigators, but you don't have to go back that far to find other examples of kidnapped migrants in Tamaulipas, a cartel stronghold. Just this week, what experts say. For years, advocates and analysts have warned that Central American migrants are often assaulted as they make their way north through Mexico. In 2011, kidnappers take different approaches in different parts of the country, says Stephanie Luttert, director of the Mexico Security Initiative at the University of Texas at Austin. In Tamaulipas, armed. Maureen Meyer, director for Mexico and migrant rights at the Washington office on Latin America, says there's one thing that's notable about this most recent incident: it's getting a lot of attention. But Meyer says, migrants. Rafael Alonso Hernandez Lopez, who directs a doctoral program in migration studies at the Colegio de la Frontera Norte, the College of the Northern Border in Tijuana, said it's notable that Mexican officials are talking about what happened at all. He noted it's the first thing. As word spread of the migrants' disappearance, Lopez opted and floated the possibility Tuesday that the migrants weren't kidnapped, but rather were simply meeting up with smugglers they'd contracted to help them get across the US-Mexico border. There's what we know so far. Mexican officials say they've been checking with authorities in Central America to see whether anyone has reported loved ones missing. And so far, Mexican Security Minister Alfonso Durazo told reporters it's notable that no shots were fired when the gunmen boarded the bus, and that only men were taken. Intelligence. At a news conference Thursday, Mexico's defense secretary presented what he said were all 44 authorities now believe the migrants on board were carrying fake Mexican IDs, he said, because personnel who checked passengers' documents didn't register any foreigners. What experts say. For Luttert, the idea that masked gunmen would ambush a bus as part of a smuggling deal doesn't add up. If Jeremy Slack, an assistant professor at the University of Texas at El Paso, who says it's unclear whether authorities know more than they've let on so far. But both theories, the migrants may have hired smugglers, he said, who later decided they wanted more money and decided to kidnap them rather than take them across the border. And sometimes, he says, migrants make a smuggling deal with one criminal group, only to be intercepted by another along the way. The timing of the migrants' disappearance is notable. U.S. authorities are increasingly forcing more migrants to stay in Mexico, both by significantly limiting the numbers of people who may seek asylum daily at ports of entry, and by sending a growing number of migrants who are seeking asylum back across the border to wait while their cases make their way through U.S. courts. U.S. officials say the number of migrant families making their way to the border, and that migrants are Mexican officials, but Mexican border cities have struggled to handle the influx of migrants. Experts say this combination of factors could make what's already a volatile situation even worse. The Lugert, of the University of Texas at Austin, says the brazen nature of the recent bus incident seems like a throwback to more violent times along the border, and that concerns her. 2.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.